I want to talk about the Great Depression and what people actually had to go through, and any other time in history where their economy collapsed, anytime their civility fell apart. Do you know who made it through those times? It was the people that, one, were aware of what was going on, but two, the people that did something to prepare for what was going on. There's a huge difference between reading the news, listening to YouTube videos. That's one thing, but to actually put your foot down and actually dig in and get yourself prepared for the future, that is something completely different. And I think a lot of people don't do that. I think a lot of people just keyboard warriors, whatever you want to call them, people that just, they see what's going on, they know what's going on, but I don't know, out of fear or out of being overwhelmed, anxiety, or just not caring, they don't do anything about it. Look at what happened in, the Great Depression. People stocked up. They saved up. They didn't go out and blow their money on stuff that they don't need. And they invested in things that were going to be valuable afterwards. And then you had people just buying up everything because they had the money. That's, I guess, different. That's not the common person's goal. But I do feel like this one is quite a bit different. We're going into a new world. We're going into possibly World War III. We're possibly going into nuclear war. We are quite possibly going into a time where America is no longer America. I think we can agree that that's kind of already happened. And quite possibly we're going into a time where Jesus comes back, which would be, I feel like that would be good because, everybody wants Jesus to come back and have his reign. But I don't think it's yet. I don't think it's necessarily that time yet. We're closer to it now today than we were yesterday, put it that way. But preparing doesn't just mean buying guns and ammo. Getting ahead doesn't just mean that. Like, the way I look at it, here's how I'm preparing. I buy things that I need to live more self-sufficient. I do things like canning. I'm learning how to do that stuff. I'm learning how to properly, can meat and, hunt more proficiently. Learning how to build tools. Learning to be a better gardener. I'm reading more. I'm actively learning how to sew. Things like that. What I'm also doing is saving money up. Buying valuable things. Getting books for my kids in case there's no more school, in case it gets so bad where the schools aren't open anymore. Well, technically, we're looking into homeschooling right now anyway, but that's, that would be awesome if we could. I'm unable to do that at this time. But I'm preparing for both sides of it. That's what I'm getting at. Is I'm trying to build up my soap company at the same time as I'm going to work and saving up and paying off all my debts and everything. At the same time, I'm, buying the guns and ammo. And you need to do both. You need a balance of it. you have people on one hand where they put all their money into stocks and all their money into 401ks and Roth and everything, and they don't prepare for what potentially could happen. And then you have the total opposite of the preppers where they're buying nothing but, gas masks and bunkers and like whatever they can get their hands on. I don't think money is going to be very valuable here soon, but you can use it to get things that you need. Like, obviously, I'm saving up to buy a piece of land. And even though I know money is going away, sooner rather than later, I'm still saving it so I can buy a piece of land. I'm not giving up on that. I'm still actively trying to do that. Even if money goes away tomorrow, it is what it is. I have no use for the money after that. However, if it doesn't go away tomorrow and it goes away in 5 or 10 years, by then I'd have enough saved up to buy a piece of land. And I told myself, I'm not going into debt for a mortgage. I'm not doing that. My goal is to buy a piece of property and build a cabin. And what I'm doing right now is I'm actively learning, how cabins are made structurally. I know how to do woodworking pretty good anyway, and building a cabin seems simple enough. But then you have to learn all the little nuanced things about like how the proper way flashing goes on, and the roof, and just make it structurally safe, I guess you could say. And I am. I'm investing in my future. I'm investing in both ways about it. Monetarily, and I guess the prepper side, if that's what you want to call it. I'm investing in all aspects of my life, not just one or two. And what I'm getting at here is I think the people that made it out of calamities in their lifetime, the Great Depression and so on and so forth, they didn't just stick their head in the sand and pretend nothing was happening. They saw what was going on and they did something about it. That's step one. And step two is preparing for a couple different scenarios. You don't just prepare for one thing to happen. You prepare for 3 or 4 of something that potentially might happen. And our potentials are, sad to say, but it's nuclear war, economic collapse. Those are 2 pretty big ones that potentially might happen. I'm not necessarily preparing for an alien invasion. However, that is in the back of my mind. What if? But I have yet to, I haven't built a reinforced alien bunker. I'm focused on the things that are more potential. I'm preparing for things that have a greater chance of happening than that. I'm learning about what they are doing with the monetary system, the the Fed coin and all that, and how that would work, and how there are ways to get around it, certain things like that. Because I do feel like that's coming. I feel like, money's going to go away and it's going to have to be replaced by something. And I can guarantee you the United States government is not going to back whatever they come up with after that with gold and silver. There is not enough gold and silver in the world to pay off America's debt. It just simply, there's no way. Trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. So it's going to have to be something that they can manipulate really easy. And what better way to do that than with electronic ones and zeros? Simply add a few zeros to it, problem solved. So I don't have any faith in that, but I am actively learning about it. So maybe in like the first year or two, when we go to that system, I can use it for taxes and getting gas, up until they tell us we can't, up until they put a mark in your hand and say you have to have this certain mark in order to buy stuff. The point is I'm actively learning about both ways. I'm actively learning about things, and that's what you need to do as a prepper, or somebody that feels the need to prepare themselves for what's happening, because only God knows what's going to happen. Truly, which way whatever happens, whether we are invaded or the power goes out or whatever. And you need to prepare. You need to be well-rounded preparedness, however you want to say that. You don't have to be perfect at everything. You don't have to go full in on one thing, because you're going to be really upset if you prepare for scenario A and scenario B happens. You know what I mean? Like, I'm preparing for the grid to go down, and at the same time I'm building my website for my soap. I rebranded my soap. I changed the name of it and doing a bunch of stuff, and basically starting from the ground up and restarting the name for it. But I'm actively building my business back up. I'm doing both of them just in case the economy doesn't collapse just yet. I can still make a living for my family doing something that I enjoy, plus my daytime job that I have. I'm still going to, a lot of people bitch and complain and say, oh, the world is ending, but yet they still go to work. And that doesn't make sense to me. If you truly believe that the world was going to end, next month or during the elections, why are you still going to work? Why are you still paying off your stuff? Because deep down, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. So that's why I am, like I said, I'm paying down my debts. I'm getting all my stuff prepared. I'm still continually reading my Bible. I'm still learning about the Bible. I'm still learning things on both sides of it, just in case whatever happens. I might have a little bit of preparedness for it. I hope that helps somebody. I hope that makes sense to somebody. I don't know who needs to hear that. I know I did a while ago, because I was one of those people just, oh, the world's going to end, man. The world's going to end. That was high school, dude. That was almost 15 years ago. And the world still hasn't ended yet. Getting closer to it, but it hasn't ended yet. And I found out, hey, man, you can sit there and say the world's going to end up until you're 70 years old, and it might not end yet. So don't spend your entire life worrying about it ending and, say the sky is falling for 60, 70 years. It will fall one day, but if you're not doing anything to get ahead of the curve, if you're not doing anything to prepare for it, what difference does it make of you, complaining about it? If you're not doing anything, you're not going to make it. Whichever way, the world falls. Just a thought for y'all, man. Have a great day.